And welcome back to another episode of Massholes with Mike. It's the Thanksgiving episode. Yes, the Patriots did play on Thursday. Yes, they did shut out the crapbag Atlanta Falcons 25-0. But no, we will not be going over this because let's be honest. A, you guys have told us that you don't really like the recap episodes as much. You like the picks episodes, which is kind of weird. But either way, I have gotten some decent viewer counts on the 10 questions episode. So what did we decide to do? We have Jordan and Jaclyn alongside. We are going to be doing 15 questions, a little bit longer.
Woo!
And Jaclyn peaks. I'm definitely going to have to edit that after. So we will be doing 15 questions. We're going to be diving around the NFL. We're going to be doing some Patriot-centric ones. I did put a decent bit of Patriot stuff in here just because we don't usually hit on them in the 10 questions. This is going to be our Thanksgiving episode, so of course we're going to predict the Thanksgiving games at the end of it, and then we're going to send you guys into a nice long holiday weekend. So, without further ado, question number 1. Jordan, you get to start. If you are Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott, the GM and head coach of the Buffalo Bills, you're sitting in your office today. What are you thinking?
Oh boy, they're coming. Seriously, Bills fans and I think the organization too thought that they were now on top of the world. They were the AFC Kings, AFC East Kings now, and well, here we are, week 12. And guess who's in first place? It's not the Buffalo Bills, it's the New England Patriots. So, like Colin Coward said, I hope you enjoyed your 12 months off.
Jaclyn.
Yeah, mine was have to game plan better. A blowout loss is not acceptable against a team that, on paper, you probably should beat. Definitely should beat on paper. Also, I just think that they got way too comfortable at the top, and now they're reaping the repercussions of that. And I love to see Bills fans be sad, and they're quite sad right now, so I'm happy.
Agreed on that last point. My thing was, and I'm just going to censor myself a little bit and say, we only had one effing year, is exactly what they should be saying. They probably thought that they were set up. They were feeling real good about themselves, I bet. They said, you know what, we can run the AFC East for a little bit now while the other teams try and retool a little bit. Maybe we'll deal with Miami a tad, but not really. And guess who's in first place in Week 12 of the NFL season? It's glorious to say, and it's not the Buffalo Bills. All right, question number 2. Jaclyn, you get to lead. Matthew Stafford is blank in insert sports terms. So basically, if you haven't seen it, people reply on Twitter a lot to big trades in the MLB, the NHL, maybe even a big soccer transfer and say, explain this in football terms or explain this in basketball terms, because those are the predominant fan bases, especially on social media. So we wanted to take this game and apply it to an NFL player. So Jaclyn, Matthew Stafford is blank.
Okay, so I said that Matthew Stafford is the NBA equivalent of Bradley Beal.
Ooh.
Because his good years were wasted on a crap team. And I think that Bradley Beal will get traded at some point. Or at least, hopefully, the Wizards will be good. And Matt Stafford is getting his time to shine. So that is why I picked him.
Honestly, now I'm mad that I didn't have that answer. That's a really good one.
Woo!
I like Bradley Beal here.
Thank you.
I have 3.
I'm pretty proud of that.
I have 3, but it was for different reasons. So one, I said it was Russell Westbrook in NBA terms because I think Russell Westbrook was looked at as a piece that you could trade and really create a contender out of. And I think we're seeing right now that Matthew Stafford doesn't necessarily equal that you're going to be a super team that beats everybody, as Rams fans are quickly finding out. The other 2 that I had, Allen Iverson, put a lot of time into Philadelphia. People said, you know what, go chase your ring, go on to a different team at a certain point after he had coaching spats, which Stafford didn't necessarily have. But then he got traded to what was assumed to be a super team in the Nuggets with Carmelo Anthony and completely fell flat on his face and ran himself out of Denver real quick. And then finally, if you want a hockey equivalent, Jerome McGinley. He went ring chasing for the last couple of years of his career with both Pittsburgh and Boston, came up empty both times, and retired without a ring. So I have all 3 of those guys as my kind of co-picks. I wasn't really sure what to go with because it's hard. Jordan.
Now mine looks a little bit different because this guy's already starting to decline even more rapidly than we thought he would. Matt Stafford is the NFL equivalent of Kemba Walker. Put up phenomenal numbers in Charlotte. Made the playoffs once or twice.
Actually, Jordan wins. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Made the playoffs once or twice. Put up a lot of empty numbers. I mean, I shouldn't say empty numbers because Kemba was a good player, and he came to Boston. His numbers were maybe slightly worse. He was on a better team. People thought that maybe, the poison of Kyrie Irving, they both also replaced polarizing players for different reasons. Kyrie kind of was a toxic player in the locker room. Jared Goff was just Jared Goff.
It was just bad.
But they were both polarizing players in their own right. Kemba was fine in Boston. They didn't get over the hump. Now, there were a lot more smiles on the sideline, but they didn't necessarily net anything of substantial value in terms of winning a ring. And now Kemba is rotting away on the Knicks, and he kind of stinks. So, I mean, I'm not saying Stafford will get to that point, but I think from Charlotte to Boston, it follows pretty close between Detroit to the Rams.
Especially because both players were looked at the piece that was going to put the other team, their new team, over the top, because they were upgrading at a position that was bad the year prior. And maybe neither will work out. We'll see. Question number 3, and I get to start on this one. Power rank the top 3 seeds in the AFC. Now, if you ask me this question in 4 weeks from now, maybe even next week, it could be 3 completely different teams because the AFC is such a crapshoot. But if I had to pick 3 right now, I'm going to take the Colts as the number 1 seed in the AFC, the team that I believe in the most. The Patriots are actually number 2, and third I have the Titans. Now, I will get into reasons for these 3 picks a little bit later because some of the questions kind of allude to it. I know that we have a question involving 2 of the AFC South teams later, but I have the Colts as, in my opinion, especially trending-wise, the best team in the AFC. Jordan.
I am a homer and a half. My number 1 team I believe in the most in the AFC right now is the New England Patriots. Yes. Number 2, I have Kansas City. I still think they're going to figure it out somehow. And then number 3, I have the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the reason why I have the Patriots first, even though in terms of talent, they're probably 4th or 5th in the AFC in terms of like the playoff teams right now. If the conference is so open, it comes down to coaching, and I think Bill Belichick is putting up a masterclass performance week in and week out right now, especially ever since the Dallas game, and you can chalk that up as kind of a fluke when you also add in the Bucs game where he was on another planet with that one. I thought he game planned great. So on top of that, so for that reason alone, the coaching, I have the Patriots at number 1. But after that, I mean, I think the Chiefs are probably a better team. But right now I have them at number 2 because they haven't really shown me enough. And then Indy looks red hot right now.
Jaclyn.
So I have the Titans in the number 1 seed. I don't know. I still think that they're a team to beat, even though they had quite the off week this past week. Number 2, I have the Patriots. That's another kind of homer pick, but also kind of not homer pick. They're trending in the right direction at this point of the year, and I think that that's a good sign. And then finally I have the Chiefs. I feel like the Chiefs are always going to have to be up there. I almost put the Ravens, but then I didn't.
It's not a bad take there at all. I don't believe in the Ravens at all. Like we said yesterday, they have the league's worst passing defense. They give up the most big plays. And they're just way too injured for me to really believe in them right now. They'll be there come the end. Like when it gets down to playoff time, I fully believe the Ravens will be there as part of those 7 teams, but I don't trust them in a big spot right now because I think they're just so shaky and they just have too many holes. Question number 4, Jordan, who is the biggest tool bag receiver in the NFL?
It's Antonio Brown. I don't think anyone comes close to him. I was talking about this, and I'm like, I don't really know many tool bag receivers in the NFL. Like, is this a question kind of, because I know how you guys feel about Odell Beckham. Like, is this kind of a question targeted to him? And then I'm like, wait, Antonio Brown.
I targeted this to a certain receiver, but I'm going to see if Jaclyn picks it first before I go. Jaclyn?
I said Tyreek Hill, and I don't think I have to explain why.
No, it's perfectly reasonable. That was not the guy I was targeting. Odell Beckham Jr. is the biggest tool bag receiver until further notice. The dude got to L.A. and somehow poisoned the Rams against the Niners. It's unbelievable. And the memes coming out of it that Odell Beckham Jr.'s dad was going to start, crapping on Matthew Stafford and exposing him for what he is to not be as good a quarterback to get OBJ out of L.A. I just find it's funny because it's a joke. But also it wouldn't be a stretch because I know about how annoying Odell Beckham is. We saw that. I mean, I don't think that the Baker Mayfield Odell Beckham controversy per se. I think it was a little bit on both of them. But overall, I just don't think Odell is as good as his ego should make him. Like, he has the ego of one of these really top-tier wide receivers, and he just isn't. Honorable mention for me, DK Metcalf. That dude is another tool. He got himself thrown out of the Packer game for no reason whatsoever. Question number 5, Jaclyn. If New England goes to the AFC Championship game or beyond, so they get to the NFL's Final Four, where will this rank among Bill Belichick's best coaching jobs?
I said the best. He's working with a rookie, and it's kind of unfathomable to believe in a Super Bowl with a rookie quarterback, and for some reason, I am believing. And I think that if he makes the AFC Championship game with a rookie quarterback, this is the best coaching job, especially because you could see the growth on the coaching side and the quarterback side as the season progressed. And I think that they both grew into each other as they grew more comfortable, which I think leads to why it would be the best in his career.
So, for context, I believe only one rookie quarterback has ever led his team to a conference title game. That would be Ben Roethlisberger in 2004. And no rookie quarterback has ever led his team to a Super Bowl, much less won it. If Bill Belichick makes it to the conference title game or beyond, and let's say that for sake of argument he does win the Super Bowl, I would put this as his third best coaching job of all time, but his best GM job of all time. Signing all these guys and then hitting 3 home runs in your first 4 picks with Stevenson, Barmore, and Mac Jones deserves to be his top GM performance, I think, already. I don't even know if you have to finish the season to kind of say that, especially after signing Hunter Henry and Matthew Judon. But behind 2001, his first Super Bowl with the Patriots, and 2018, because objectively, dragging a team with Julian Edelman, Dwayne Allen, Chris Hogan, and all of these, and Philip Dorsett to a Super Bowl is hysterical to me. I mean, it's just funny. Like, they shouldn't have even sniffed the title game, let alone beaten the Chiefs and then smoked the Rams in the Super Bowl. That will always, and I was definitely drinking the Kool-Aid a lot more back then. Like, that was really funny to me, and I really hope that he tops it. Because if he wins the Super Bowl, maybe we can revisit this question again at the end of the year. But it's got to rank up high because of the job that he's doing. He deserves to be in the mix for Coach of the Year, especially with the way some of these other teams are performing as well. Jordan.
Yeah, I have this performance if he gets to the AFC title game or better right now as the 4th best coaching job of his career. I think 2001 definitely takes the cake. I mean, he took a 6th-round pick. And, like, it goes without saying that Drew Bledsoe was the highest paid player in NFL history at that point, and he just kind of kicked him to the curb and was like, yeah, this 6th-rounder from Michigan that's kind of chubby is now the new quarterback of the Patriots, and he took him to a Super Bowl. Then I also have 2015 above it. The year they beat Atlanta, going 3-1 with Jimmy Garoppolo and Jacoby Brissett as his quarterbacks. Now I know the matchups weren't necessarily like ridiculous. Like Arizona was probably the best team that he beat over that stretch, because he beat Brock Osweiler in one of those games. But they didn't throw the ball in 2 of those games, and they won one of them with Brissett at quarterback. That's definitely up there. Getting Martellus Bennett over from Chicago, especially when Gronk got hurt, that paid major dividends as well. And then above it, and this is mostly just because I think Belichick almost did this on purpose, Belichick the GM, last year, winning 7 games with that disgusting roster is top tier trolling. He was like, oh man, I've lost my fastball, but guess what? I can roll out of bed and go basically 500 with any roster you give me now. He had the ghost of.
He gave himself that roster.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I said this a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was more recent than that. Bill Belichick dipped into the spider tack, and now he's chucking 95 on the corners again because he was like, "Oh, y'all thought I was done. Let me take this rookie to the one of the top seeds in the AFC."
It's insane. It really is.
I'm at 4 right now. No, if you win the AFC title game, it's probably top 2.
We'll see what happens. All right, question number 6. Yes, 6, because I'm leading here. What fan base in the NFL do you hate the most? It's got to be the Bills. I hate the Bills so much. The Bills fans piss me off to high hell. There's no sugarcoating it. People want to say that they're the most passionate and the most, I guess they're the best fan base in the NFL. No, just objectively no. You don't get brownie points from me for being stupid, which is what I think the Bills fan base is. Jordan.
This is going to sound kind of absurd, but the Patriots being good again reminds me of just how terrible the Patriots fan base
Agreed.
is. It is
Agreed.
horrible. Like now the Patriots literally did what they did all throughout the last 5 or 6 years of Brady's career. Start slow, and then once you hit mid-October into early November, you start going on your run. They did that this year, and now everyone's like, wow, now if Belichick wasn't such a coward in October, they'd be the 1 seed. It's like, shut up. Please, they're 7-4. They're one of the best teams in the league right now. Just grow up. You only had to witness a rebuild for a season. Now grow up. The Patriots are the worst fan base in the league. I don't care.
Jaclyn.
I hate Giants fans. They are so annoying. I cannot stand listening. Oh, Eli Manning's the GOAT. Eli Manning is Tom Brady's father. I'm like, no! Eli Manning got carried to that second Super Bowl win by that defense, so shut up! I hate them.
Conveniently, Eli
Had to
Manning
collect herself for a second there.
They are just the worst. And it also is annoying because they're often paired as Yankees fans, too. So you get the double annoying.
That's very true.
Rings,
And maybe Knicks fans, but
how
they've
many were
started to
you
get more
alive
annoying
for?
lately.
Probably 1, 2, maybe? Like, shut up.
2 of Eli's 4 best throws came in those 2 Super Bowls, and one was complete luck with Tyree. The other one was ridiculous to Manningham in the second Super Bowl.
I'm amazed that we got through this question without mentioning the true, real annoying fan bases in the league. The Cowboys and the Packers, both of them absolutely title town. It's our trophy. It's coming home, guys. When you haven't won anything in a decade, calm down. Both of you, calm down, Cowboys and Packers. All right, question number 7. I saw this question originally proposed with Brady as the second quarterback, but I'm going to go with a different guy here. Jordan, would you rather have Russell Wilson from right now until the very end of his career, or Mac Jones from right now to the final day of his career?
I'd probably pick Mac Jones just because I think Russell Wilson isn't too far away from starting to decline. Mac Jones is a rookie. I'm more on intrigue alone. Now, he may never be to what the level Russell Wilson's even at before he broke his finger a few weeks ago. But intrigue alone, rookie deal, all that stuff, I'm going with Mac Jones over Russell Wilson just for especially just time-wise. You get him for 15 to 18 years versus 6. I'll easily take that.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think Mac Jones. I think that he has not peaked yet, and I think Russell Wilson may have.
At the end of the day, if you're getting Mac Jones, I think that you can believe in Bill Belichick with him to try and build a Super Bowl contender for the next couple of years. Wilson definitely seems like I feel like he's won. He wants to win again, but I think the money is a real big factor for him. Don't know how big. But I think he's going to run his way out of Seattle soon, and I think, honestly, that's still the best place for him. Yeah, they've done a poor job drafting in recent years, but he can basically tell the Seahawks to do something, and they'll do it. I don't necessarily know if a new organization is going to do that the same way Seattle has been willing to work around him and his schedule, his brand, and all that as well. Question number 8. Jaclyn. Which one of these teams do you believe in more, Indy or Tennessee? And we kind of answered this earlier, but I'm going to let you go again, and then I'll go here.
So this is kind of funny, because I know I said that I have the Titans as my number 1 seed right now, but I believe in Indy more.
Love it.
I think that right now the Titans are better, but I think in the long run, Indy maybe. And that's annoying.
So here's the weird thing about the Colts and teams like that. I think that they're much better built for the playoffs, the Patriots and the Colts, than almost any other team in the AFC, and that's why I picked those two to lead my power rankings in the AFC. I think the Titans, to a degree, still want to throw the ball, and Derrick Henry's hurt. The Bills are not built for Buffalo whatsoever. The Bills are built as a finesse team to throw the ball up and down the field. And they're in Buffalo where there's wind, there's snow. It's going to be crappy in January and February. And it's just, I don't know why in the world they built their team like that. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The Chiefs, again, finesse team. The Chargers, warm weather finesse team. So 2 strikes against you guys. Steelers just don't have a quarterback that throws ducks. There's not really anything else to say about the other teams. So I believe in Indy a lot more than I believe in Tennessee. Jordan.
Yeah, I also believe in Indy a lot more than Tennessee. I told you guys last year Carson Wentz wasn't that bad. Like I told
No,
you.
I had the Colts finishing 12-5 this year, and when they started off, I think like 0-3 or 0-4, I thought that prediction was sunk. I'm starting to feel really good about it now, and they already have 4 losses.
Yeah, they might be a little bit worse than 12-5 because I'm sure they'll lose a couple games down the stretch. It's borderline impossible to win that many games in a row.
Hopefully to the Patriots. We don't know.
Yeah, hopefully.
We'll
Fingers crossed. But yeah, Indy. The way Jonathan Taylor's playing right now, the way Carson Wentz is playing right now, he's basically turned into a game manager, but he hasn't lost that athleticism he had in Philly. He's got a decent offensive line now. His weapons are pretty good for the most part. That defense is starting to kind of turn it on, not to the level we thought they'd be, but they're playing a lot better in recent weeks. I trust Indy a lot more. Ryan Tannehill has shown he is dog water without Derrick Henry on play action, so he sucks. He's Miami Tannehill again.
It sucks too because it's Adrian Peterson as their new tailback, and I still do like him for his time with the Vikings. All right,
this is why I wanted to downpour on Sunday, even though I'm flying home from Mass to Arizona. I want it to be downpouring. I want it to be Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson versus Adrian Peterson.
Good point. Question number 9, I get to start on this one. Who will be the next coach fired? The fact that Matt Nagy hasn't been fired, the only reason is because it's a short week. I'm convinced. Like, after Thursday, when they inevitably lose to Tim Boyle and hand the Lions their first win of the season, like, he's got to go. He really does. He's overstayed his welcome. Other NFC North coaches have kind of salvaged their seasons a little bit with recent performances. Matt Nagy has not. You should have beaten the Ravens in their second-string quarterback yesterday. You really should have. Jordan.
Yeah, Nagy. I was going to say Mike Zimmer, but they're 5-5. They're playing a lot better now. And the Bears... Oh... Good Lord. I'm like at Stephen A. Smith with the Wizards levels of disappointed in the Bears.
Ooh.
Like, oh, God. I'm disgusted.
Jaclyn, you going to triple down on the Bears?
I was going to, but I'll just say someone different for effect. I said Joe Judge. The Giants
Love it.
That's a good one, too.
That's
a good one, too. They should have been way better than they are.
Agreed. Question number 10. Jordan, it's Titans week. Looking ahead a little bit, Patriots play the Titans in what could be a matchup for the AFC's number 1 seed if them and the Ravens both lose. Ravens play against Cleveland on Sunday night. Titans-Patriots, big matchup, playoff implications. Who's your favorite Tennessee Titan of all time?
CJ2K. That dude was an absolute animal when he was at his peak and gave us one of the best Gus Johnson calls of all time.
And for those who don't know, because, I don't know, we may have a younger audience, because some people actually don't, which is really sad, but it is Chris Johnson, of course.
Yeah.
One of the more electric running backs of our childhoods.
Might know him for when he was washed up on the Cardinals, but he was unbelievable when he was on the Titans.
Yep. Him and Zach Mettenberger, the dynamic duo.
Vince Young? Anybody?
Yeah, I think Jake Walker in there, too. Jaclyn.
Mine is so silly. I said Jason McCourty.
I like that.
That's fine.
Hey,
I love
you
him.
met Jason McCourty.
I did. I met him.
You have the claim to fame. That makes
Titans
sense.
jersey. I have his Titans jersey. So
yeah, so there you go. It's not
for that
silly.
reason,
It's
I
got
say
meaning.
Jason McCourty, but also just because I love Jason McCourty.
All right. So when I was in my infancy for fantasy football, when I was learning just like how to play the ropes, and this is back when like
is it
PPR,
Delaney Walker?
PPR wasn't a thing. Delaney Walker was always my tight end. I love that guy. That dude was awesome. I always wanted him on the Patriots, and I'm even more happy that Jordan knew exactly where I was going. Because it sounds
Once
like
you said
also
fantasy
employed
football, I'm like,
the fantasy football strategy of if Gronk isn't available, go to Delaney Walker as your tight end and just hope for the best. That was literally it, and it was so funny. I'm very glad that you latched onto that with Marcus Mariota as the quarterback. All right, question number 11. Jaclyn, the Cowboys-Chiefs game showed you blank.
That it's still hard to win in Kansas City. That's what it showed me.
That's fair. You know what it showed me? Every team I believe in fails me. I thought the Cowboys were the most complete roster in the league, and they just went out and absolutely crapped the bed against a team that I needed them to beat. Come on, Dallas. The one time I'm like actively, like very overtly rooting for you guys, and you just absolutely choke against Kansas City. That hurt. Jordan, who's actually wearing a Royals hat right now.
Honestly,
what did it show you?
Neither of these teams are really that good. Like, Mahomes wasn't good.
Yeah, he only got me 8 fantasy points.
Prescott sucked.
Prescott got 2, Jaclyn.
Zeke looked like he ate some cheeseburgers before the game because he was running with a piano on his back. He was terrible.
He did get banged up early on, though. He took that. He got his leg folded underneath him. It looked really bad.
It just showed me neither of these teams are really all that good. You know, I know the NFL, you're injury away from being garbage, but like if you have a minor injury to like a depth piece, like if Michael Gallup misses any time really for the Cowboys, they're toast.
Seriously. Question number 12. Yes, 12. Biggest winner of the week. I get to start. And I'm going to take the Patriots. Yeah, I went really homer on a lot of these picks, but I don't care because I'm feeling real good about my team right now. They shut out the Falcons. Almost every team that they needed to lose lost. Bills lost. The Ravens almost lost. The Titans did lose. The Steelers lost as well. They have the 3 seed in the AFC. In my opinion, at this point, it's fair to change expectations for this team and expect them to compete for that 1 seed in the AFC. Every team in the AFC has at least 3 losses. You have 4. Go and get it, Patriots. Your schedule is entirely in front of you. You got the Bills twice, the Colts, and the Titans. Get it done, and then we can actually think about having a bye in the first round. You know how nuts that would be after all this? Right back to the bye. You know, a Patriots mainstay, if you will. Jordan.
That'd be huge for Mac Jones, especially because he's been working his butt off the last calendar year. Mine, it was going to be the Patriots. I'm going to take a different one. I'm going to go with Cincy. Baltimore lost, and I know the rest of it, and they were able to keep pace with Cleveland behind them in the AFC North. That division is still wide open, but Baltimore won. What am I saying? But they were able to keep pace with the top of the division. With Baltimore really inconsistent, I know Cincy is too, but they're still right there. They were able to keep pace in that division, and so I guess you could say the same with Cleveland, even though they narrowly beat the Browns, and Baker Mayfield is looking worse by the game.
Yeah, because
Jaclyn.
he's falling apart.
He is.
I also took the Patriots. I think that, I mean, maybe it's just because
I love
I'm
this.
excited,
We all had it,
but
and Jordan just went different for this. For
yeah,
difference's sake.
I can't say otherwise.
Awesome. I'm never going to be upset about a Patriots being a Patriots answer to who won the week. All right, well, conversely, Jordan, you get to start on this one. Who lost the week? Who's the biggest loser?
The Pittsburgh Steelers. They wasted Big Ben's best performance of the season, probably his best performance in a couple of years.
He was pushing the ball more than 10 yards down the field. Did you see that? It was unbelievable.
And their defense gave up 41. They're the only team in the AFC North that lost, so that's great for them, especially after tying the Lions a week prior. They are. I know I said the Browns will come in last in that division. It's looking like Pittsburgh is starting. They're going the wrong way.
Jaclyn.
I said the Titans. I mean, you are coming off of a loss to the oh my god. What was I saying?
Texans?
Thank
Titans
you.
lost to the Texans.
Thank you. That's who I was. I was like, the Oilers? Because I was just thinking. Anyways, the Texans. Coming off of a loss to the Texans where Tannehill throws 4 interceptions. And now you have to go and play the Patriots. Like, that sucks, bro. That's so tough. So, I say they lost the week.
Number 1 seeds lost the week. Green Bay and Tennessee both lost. Tennessee, as Jaclyn said, not only do they have to go in and face the Patriots now, and they've fallen back to the rest of the pack, but Indy's really coming up hard on their heels, as we've mentioned. Green Bay, you should have beaten Minnesota. No question about it. There's no excuse to lose that game. Now you let Arizona, of all teams, once again back into the 1 seed. You guys are just going to keep trading it back and forth. And while you do have the head-to-head wins, I think Arizona has the easier schedule the rest of the way. I'd have to actually check on that. I'm not sure. But Green Bay does have a big game coming up against the Rams this week, and then they get the bye. And they need to get to the bye because Rodgers is dealing with some sort of toe injury that he's really just going to milk for the rest of the season. All right, question number 14. Jaclyn, more underrated. You get the option of 3 teams, the Vikings, the Panthers, and the Eagles. Who did you roll with?
I said the Eagles, and I hate that I said the Eagles, but I did because I think that in a lot of their losses, they've lost to a lot of good teams, but it's been very close. And then they've blown out the teams that they've needed to blow out. And then they also beat the Saints this week, which I think, I mean, even though the Saints are a little bit injured, I still think that that's a team that I would not expect them to win by 11 points. I would figure it would be a little bit closer.
It was worse at one time, too. Wasn't it like 21 or 24 points at one point, and the Saints made it
something
respectable?
Like that, and then garbage time points. But I just think that overall they're a better team than people expect them to be, and Jalen Hurts is just fun to watch.
I mean, you know where I'm going to go here. The Vikings' 5 losses are by a combined 18 points, but I do have to do a little bit of a story time. So I was alone yesterday watching football, watching Red Zone and the main game on my other TV. My roommate had left for the week because of Thanksgiving and stuff, and I was feeling a little bit under the weather. So unfortunately, I couldn't get Kyle and Jaclyn over here to watch with me. But the Vikings game was on the left TV, and I had Red Zone on the right TV. So the Vikings get the ball back with about 2 minutes to go after the Valdez-Scantling touchdown. And I run into my room here, and I grab my Harrison Smith jersey and say, if there was ever a time to exercise the juju on this team, it is now. I put on the Harrison Smith jersey over this hoodie, actually. I walk back into the living room only to see Kirk Cousins throw a pick. And I rip the jersey off, chuck it into my room, and turn around and sit down like this with my head in my hands, only to find out that the interception gets overturned during the replay because I said he didn't have control, and the Vikings won the game. And I was like, okay, I mean, sure, maybe the key is don't put on the jersey and bad things won't happen. Jordan.
My most underrated team is also going to be the Eagles. They kind of do enough to win a lot of the time, and they keep it close. I think they're, in a lot of respects, similar to the Patriots in the sense that they're probably a year away from truly being competitive again. Like, I know the Patriots are a top 3 team in the AFC right now, but next year is really the year where I fully anticipate them to be, one of the top 2 teams. Like, legitimately, like, if the AFC isn't wide open, they'll still be in that top 2 discussion. I think the Eagles are kind of in a similar boat. Obviously, the NFC East is not the AFC East with the Bills, and the AFC in general with, all the Chiefs and everything, but maybe we were a little too harsh on Mr. Rock, Paper, Scissors, Nick Sirianni, because they're playing pretty well for him.
I'm telling you, I've been on him this whole time.
Well, hey,
you plays rock, paper, scissors.
If you look at the Twitter thread I sent last week, he's actually a podcaster in his spare time. That would be the job that he had if he wasn't a football coach. So, it is what it is.
But somehow Bill Belichick would still be a football coach if football didn't exist.
I think my favorite one was like Arthur Smith as an exterminator or something like that. Or Pete Carroll was like a furniture store owner that's somehow worth $15 million.
Andy Reid was is an owner of a 15 barbecue chain restaurants. It's like, that's very
perfectly
fitting.
on brand. I make fun of him all the time for that.
That's very fitting.
Question number 15, the last one here before we get to Thanksgiving picks. Gun to your head right now. Predict the Super Bowl matchup. And Lord, I do not want to do this question, but I had to because I think it's important, honestly. Like, we need to be able to see who we think the Super Bowl matchup's going to be. And I went spite, I went homerism, and I combined the two of them. I originally had the Colts written in, and I crossed it out on my paper and wrote Patriots in all caps. Patriots-Packers Super Bowl, and I want to beat Rodgers. Please, give it to me. Beat Rodgers in a Super Bowl, and I can absolutely dance on people's graves. Jordan.
This one is going to be very fun for Patriots fans because I also went homer with this one. Again, I said coaching above all else in a division, in a conference that's not wide open, or that's wide open, and the Patriots own the coaching advantage in every single game. I have the Patriots coming out of the AFC. And they are not taking on Tom Brady. They are taking on the quarterback that used to be on the Patriots that will beat Tom Brady in the NFC title game.
Goodness.
It'll be the Patriots and the Niners in the Super Bowl. You're welcome.
Okay, Jaclyn, did you go the same route I did? Because I immediately went to the Panthers with Cam Newton, and I got scared.
No.
Okay.
I love Cam. I love Cam.
I love
Cam. He looked
so
good
confused.
on Sunday. I love Cam. He looked good on Sunday. But no, the Niners. The Niners are a little bit better than the Panthers.
I agree. I'm surprised.
But that's why I built it
much,
up like that.
That's why I built it up like that. That much of an upset for the 49ers because they're really kind of low in the standings right now. It's gonna be interesting. to see if that actually
they've
plays
started
out.
they've started to pick things up in recent weeks.
I agree. Jaclyn.
So, this is really an episode for the homers because I also picked the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
It's hard not to, though.
And you have
really
them
is
over the
hard
Panthers. And you have them over the Panthers.
I did America's worst nightmare.
Cowboys.
The Patriots versus the Cowboys, baby. The
I'd be
fight
okay with
for
that matchup,
America's team, and the
I'd be okay with
Patriots
that
come
matchup,
out
'cause I
on
think the
top.
defense-
In my,
I think the NFL would be very happy with that
yeah,
matchup.
the NFL would be fantastic.
The fix is in now. Let's go.
The only thing better would be a Patriots-Bucks Super Bowl. That would be the only
That's
thing
true.
that would be better.
Oh, that would be great.
That would be
though.
incredible, but it's not going to happen.
No, I'd be nervous about that one. I'd be
Yeah,
way more nervous
I don't
about
want to give Brady his 8th Super Bowl.
Exactly.
I'm good with that one.
Exactly.
All right. To finish up here, we're just going to quickly predict the Thanksgiving games. So we have 3 games. We have the Lions and the Bears in the battle of the backup quarterbacks and the battle of suck, actually, in the NFC North. We have the Raiders facing the Cowboys without both Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb for this game, people assume, unless CeeDee Lamb can somehow clear concussion protocol. Good God, that was hard to say. In 4 days. And then the nightcap, Bills and Saints in the Superdome. I'm going to go first and just pick all 3 right down the line. I think the Bears are going to win because I can't let Dan Campbell win a game this year. I need to let him go winless so that way they fire his ass after 1 season. I'm going to be taking the Cowboys at home because the Raiders are just an absolute mess right now. And I really want the Saints to win on Thursday night. So, you know what? What the hell? Let's go Saints with the nightcap here. Jordan.
Yeah, I need Dan Campbell to win a game because I feel really, really bad for this man. Like, he deserves...
feel nothing for this man.
I love
This
him.
man... He is an absolute hard-out.
Because he's
not
fun.
He's not a good football coach.
But he's fun. He's not working. The Lions are not a real team.
Yeah, that's my opinion of him. I think the fact that they're in so many of these games, even though they somehow tied the Mason Rudolph-led Steelers, is a testament to his coaching ability because that roster sucks eggs, man. It's so bad. But anyway, I'm taking the Lions. They'll finally get over the hump this week. I'm about to be 0-3 picking the Lions, probably, but I'm taking them to win. I got Dallas beating the Raiders, and then I got the Saints beating the Bills. Again, going massive homer pick, but let's go. Who day?
Saints have pulled off some wild upsets, especially at home this
Trevor
this year.
Siemian about to outplay Josh Allen.
All right, Jaclyn.
I am also picking the Lions. I just don't want the Bears to win, and I also love Dan Campbell, so MCDC for the win. Next, we have the Raiders. I'm picking the Raiders. I need to make up some picks, and I feel like this is a game where I could possibly do that. So I will be picking the Raiders. I don't know, this team, Derek Carr is so likable that I just want him to do well, and he hasn't been playing very well, so I'm like, come on, man.
Some people want Mariota for this game.
Yeah, and then I'm picking the Bills because both of you didn't pick the Bills. Again, I need to make up some picks, and I feel like this is kind of a safe pick to try and make up. However, I will be actively rooting against it and rooting for the Saints.
That's normally what I do. I'm very behind in picks this year. The swan song to the picks episode for the time that we are in school, at least, is not going well for me. So at this point, I'm just having fun. I'm just kind of picking the teams that I want to win as opposed to the teams that I actually think will win. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you guys for listening. 15 questions around the league. Hope you enjoyed it. I know we did because it's fun to do the different topics, not necessarily all Patriots-centric, despite the fact that they made a big appearance in this week's segment. Thank you to Jordan and Jaclyn for joining me. You can find us on our social media platforms at Mass with Mikes on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Massholes with Mikes on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. 25 YouTube videos in a month. 26 as of tomorrow once I upload this one. So we will hope you guys enjoy your Thanksgiving break. I mean, we all kind of deserve it. I know we're kind of feeling a little bit burnt out. Well, we will see you next week after the Patriots and Titans game. Big one. Playoff implications. Let's go. Have a good day.